150 years ago, when people lived very far apart from one another, and they could get away. The story is very different from other scary stories, because this story is true.
True. Nervous. Very dreadfully nervous I am and have been. But why will you say that I'm mad? The disease has sharpened my senses, not dulled them, not destroyed them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard many things in heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. But how then am I mad? Listen and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It's impossible to say how the idea first entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. I loved the old man. He'd never wronged me. He'd never given me insult. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this, his eye. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale, blue eye. When it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. So by the degrees, I decided to take the life of the old man, thus rid myself of the eye forever.
Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Mad I know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wise the act was given. With what caution, with what foresight, with what simulation I went to work. I was never ever kind to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, about midnight, I could go out to the store and open it. Oh, so gently. And then when I made a vision from my head, I could look out of the lantern, all close to the Lord's tonight. I moved slowly, very, very slowly, so I might not disturb the old man's sleep.
It took me an hour to follow it with the open still bar. I could see him lay upon his bed. Ha! What a madman so wise as this.
Presently I heard a slight groan. It was the groan of mortal terror. Oh no, it was not a groan of pain or grief. It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has welled up in my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echoes, the terrors that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man felt and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. Because I knew that he had still been lying in the bed, awake, ever since the first faint noise when he turned in the bed. But I had waited a long time, very patiently. Without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a little. A very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how steadily, until at length a simple dim ray with the thread of the spider shot from out the crevice and fell upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide open, and I furiously gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness. All the dull blue with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else but the old man's face, or a person, for I had directed the ray, as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot.
And I have not told you that what you say for is but over keepings of the sense. Now I say there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as the watch makes when it don't come. I knew the sound well too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fear as the beating of a drum stimulates disclosure and courage. But even yet our pain kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionlessly. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eve. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker, and louder and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say, louder every moment. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I'm nervous. So I am, and now as the dread hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that house, so strange a noise as this exciting me to uncomfortable terror. Yet for some minutes longer, our refrain stood still, but the beating grew louder, louder. I felt the heart was burst.
And now, a new anxiety seized me. The sound we heard my neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once, once only. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes, the heart beat on with awful sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length, it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more.
If still you think me mad, you will no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. I then took out the 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the planks, and then replaced the boards so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash. A tub had caught all. When I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down and opened it with a light heart. Sorry, I can't get that far over there, guys. But what had I to fear now? There entered 3 men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor in the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises.
I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was of my own dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure and undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them to rest from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild odyssey of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot which reposed the corpse of the victim. My officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat while I answered cheerily. They chatted of familiar things. But ere long, I found myself getting pale, and I wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied the ringing in my ears. But still they sat, and they still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued and became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued to gain definiteness, until at length I found the noise was not within my ears.